Hey everybody, Jeff Schneider here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the lick I just played, but we're also first going to talk about an unconventional triad pair that's going to work great on minor 7 chords, going to give you a really modern sound. This is something you probably haven't seen before. And as I said, we're going to break down the lick that I just played. It has this interesting thing that it does on the major 7 chord. And then we're going to talk about one more arpeggio that's going to work great on dominant 7th chords. This is going to make you sound like you're playing outside the chord changes because, well, you're using a lot of extensions. You'll see what I mean in just a bit, so stay tuned. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. Let's face it, your chord progressions are kind of basic. You know there's this hip jazz R&B sound that you want to be able to play and produce with, but it just seems out of reach. Well, you're in luck. Stanky Loops Volume 1 is a collection of 42 original chord loops using advanced jazz, R&B, and neo-soul chord voicings and progressions. Whether you're a producer, a pianist, or just someone who wants to learn more about that sound that causes uncontrollable stank face, Stanky Loops is for you. So click the link up top or in the description below to download Stanky Loops Volume 1 today, and you'll get the audio, MIDI, and sheet music notation. Best of all, you may use the audio loop content on a royalty-free basis to create your own original music compositions and audio projects. So have fun and enjoy Stanky Loops Volume 1. So first, let's talk about this triad pair. It's for minor 7 chords, and what you're going to do is take a minor triad built off the 1. So let's talk about a particular chord here to make this make more sense. D minor 7, all right? So the first triad is just your basic D minor triad. Okay, now it's a triad pair, right? So we need another one. Now here's where it gets funky. We're going to use a major triad built off of the 2. So if you have a D minor for the first one, the second triad is going to be an E major triad. By the way, I'm talking in concert key here. So when I say D minor, I'm actually playing my B minor. But if you don't play alto saxophone, you don't have to worry about that. Just remember what I'm saying. So D minor and E major. So what does this give you? So obviously the triad that's built off of the 1 gives you your standard 1, your 3, and your 5. But the triad built off of the 2 gives you your 2 or your 9, the sharp 11, and the 13. So a sharp 11 is something you don't see too often on minor 7 chords, which is why it sounds a little bit more exotic. It sounds a little bit more out. Now, just a reminder, we all learned that blues scale really early on, right? And the blues scale has a flat 5, which is the same note as the sharp 11. So it's not too out of left field, but in this context, in this triadic context, it sounds really interesting, really exotic. So get the idea. It's a really interesting sound. That sharp 11 comes out of nowhere, but when you put it in this context of triads, you pull it off and it sounds great. So just to get you started with a very simple triad pattern, I want you to go up the triads sequentially like so. You're going to go up the D minor, then you're going to go up the E major, and then you're going to go up the D minor again, but in first inversion. So it's going to be F, A, D. And now the E major triad again, but in first inversion. So G sharp, B, and E. Together it sounds like this. And then of course you can do it going down. So give that a try, but now we're going to talk about that lick that I played at the very beginning of the video that uses this arpeggio that's going to actually reference something we discussed in a previous video, the one about cadential diminished chords. That video was focused more on the chord itself, where you might want to play it on the guitar or the piano. This is going to be focused on a single note improvised line. So the arpeggio I want you to check out is this. It's going to be on the 1 chord, all right? So let's take E flat major 7, concert. Now, a very common way to arpeggiate a major 7 chord would be to go 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, like so. But now what we're going to do is play 7, 1, flat 3, flat 5, 7. So you get this sound. So the chord we're arpeggiating here is a E flat diminished major 7 chord. The 1, the flat 3, the flat 5, and then the major 7 on top of that. And if you notice, we actually have a triad in there that you recognize. It's the D major triad, this one. So that's kind of interesting, playing a D major triad in the context of an E flat major 7 chord. Not one you might expect, but it sounds really, really hip. And it's because of that cadential diminished relationship. So you can play it in the formation that I did. I think the lick that I played earlier was this. I'll play it slowly. You can have a lot of fun with this D major triad on top of the E flat major 7 chord. I'll do it one more time with the piano so you can hear what it sounds like in context. Pretty interesting, right? Don't be afraid to experiment with this. Remember, it's the major triad built off of the 7th scale degree on a major 7th chord. Okay, let's do one more arpeggio now. This is going to be on a dominant 7th chord. It sounds really, really hip. It's going to be built off of the 1, or the root of the chord, the flat 9, the sharp 11, the flat 7, and then the 1 again at the top. So let's take a B flat 7 chord, all right? Here's the 1, right? That's B flat. Then we're going to go up a half step to the flat 9. Then we're going to go to the sharp 11, that's E. Then we're going to go to the flat 7, that's A flat. And then you can play the 1 again at the top, B flat. And then you can come back down. So it sounds fine on its own, but let's put it into context now. I'm going to use it in a 2-5-1 line where the B flat 7 is the 5 chord. Check this out. Slowly. Interesting, right? You're using some extensions in a way that actually bring out another triad, which is sort of the theme of today's video, right? Triads and how powerful they are for taking you outside of the normal conventional harmony. So what triad am I using? Well, it's the tritone away. It's the E major triad. Right? That's in second inversion, B, E, and G sharp. So today we went over 3 examples of using triads to go outside the chord changes. Hope you guys found it interesting. If you have questions, leave them down below. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you haven't checked out Stanky Loops Volume 1 and you're interested in really hip jazz, neo soul, R&B chord progressions, you got to check that out so you can get the audio, the MIDI, and the sheet music all in one package. That's available at the link somewhere around here, and of course down below in the description. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.